Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some Reddit. Today we're going to look at a daily roundup of all the jerks on Reddit, or at least the ones I looked at. Let's get started. This story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Encouraging My Son to Break Up with His Girlfriend? So my son has been dating this girl for the past 3 years and she is now 16. The issue is that he is a Christian and she is a Muslim, and I think this will be a major conflict of interest if they ever have kids or plan on getting married in the future. My son has read the Quran to understand her religion, and she has done the same with the Bible. There is a great Christian girl nearby who I am friends with the father, and the father really likes our family and wants me to arrange a date for them to meet up and see if they like each other. I think we can see where this is going. My son has a list of things he can never do, as well as not be able to live with the guilt of, so cheating is one of them, and he said no. Well, good on him. So we decided to encourage them to break up by stating how much it would change his life if he started to live with his girlfriend in the future. Wow, he's 13 or 16. I tried to bring up the kids and the religion they would be raised, and he said he doesn't want any children, but if he does, then he said that Islam and Christianity are similar enough so they can raise them with either religion and let them decide. I decided to start stating things about his girlfriend that I think he does not like. She embarrasses him by drawing attention to him, and my son is quite shy, so I brought that up, but he said he doesn't really bother him. I said some more traits, and he said he found them cute. I kept trying, and he said I should stop trying to ruin his relationship, as he will not date the other girl if I do. I'm trying to convince him, and he keeps telling me that I'm a terrible person. So I was wondering if I'm a terrible person, or the mother who is just looking out for her son. Edit 1. I understand, guys, my husband is brainwashing me into thinking that she is not great for our son, and I have apologized to him. Thank you for making it clear. I had ignored how much happier my son has been over the last 3 years. He used to be very angry, but now he is one of the most calmest people I know. He has been a grown person, and she has been a crucial part of his growth. I had ignored much more than I put in the post, and will invite her over for dinner and apologize as well. I will arrange a sleepover for a week just as they finish their school year. Hopefully her mom agrees. Edit 2. It's the morning now, and my son just told me that he does not believe in God anyways, and his girlfriend does not, and it was just to show her parents that he thinks that he wants to be Muslim. And yeah, so I think that you're being a jerk here, trying to convince your son that he should break up with his girlfriend. And to kind of do it in such a kind of, mean way, I think was really petty. The thing is that your son is 16. It's pretty unlikely he's going to marry whomever he's with right now. That's just the nature of 16-year-olds. He's probably going to meet someone who's completely different from the girl he's dating now. If not, then it's just a longer relationship that they've had and that they'll continue to get along. As for apologizing to her with a dinner, I think that's probably a good idea. I think that, that would show that you're not trying to oppose her. And I think that's probably about sums it up. Anyhow, good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Kicking My Sister Out After Bringing Her Boyfriend Home to My House? My 19-year-old sister has been living with me, a 26-year-old male, and my fiance, a 25-year-old female, for 4 months now, for school. When she moved in, I only had 3 conditions: no alcohol, to tell me when she will be late, and no boyfriend. If she does that, then she can live with us as long as she wants, rent-free. I gave her the 2nd floor, and I live on the 3rd floor. Yesterday, she broke one of the rules. She brought a boy home. When I confronted her about it, she said something like, I don't know why you're angry, he's just helping me with something. And he lives far away from school. I live about 10 minutes away from school. I shouted at her that she lost my trust and that the boy tried to intervene, but I quickly told him to shut up and not to get his nose in other people's business and to get out of my house before I kick him out myself. He left after that. I was angry at my sister and in some way kind of sad. I felt like one of the persons I rely on the most has just stabbed me in the back. I was visibly upset. She knew it because the first time she saw me this angry in front of her, she apologized and tried to hug me, but I stepped back and told her to pack her stuff. Wow. I then locked myself in my room and called a friend of mine that works at campus and linked her to the university individual room. Today I helped her move there. After finishing, she tried to hug me again and I stepped back and left. So am I the jerk in this situation? Yeah. Oh my goodness. What in the world is wrong with you here? Your sister tried bringing over a guy to help her with something. It doesn't even sound like this was that big of a deal here. It's not like you caught them in bed with each other, which it sounds like you're trying to police your sister's adult relationship time. And I think that's kind of gross in a lot of ways. Your 3 conditions are really controlling, and I don't honestly think they're appropriate. Like, how are those going to impact her negatively? And as for, like, she tried to apologize, she also tried to explain the situation, but you refused to listen to her, and then you kicked her out of the house. The final thing here is you never really found out the real reason why he was over. Was he there to help with homework? And I mean that in a serious way, not in a flirtatious way. Was he there to help her with, some chore around the house or a school project? The thing is that there are actually really legitimate reasons why a guy or a boy would come over to her house. And that's also kind of making the assumption that if she brought a girl over to her house, then also you mean, how do you know which, side of the fence, so to speak, your sister is on here? So I think overall, all around here, was just kind of gross. I think that your rules were inappropriate. I think they should have followed more like, keep your grades up and, do good in school and you can live here rent free, not I'm going to impose these curfews and, rules about how you should live your life because I want to make sure to instill a good moral authority into you. So that's how I'm interpreting this one. Anyhow, good luck. This next story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Letting My 9-year-old nephew mess with my juggling knives? I recently traveled to my home state for a funeral of my great uncle who passed away. I only met him once or twice when I was a child and we barely knew him. But my parents were quite close to him and instead me and my sister come to the funeral. My sister has one son who is currently 9 years old and is obsessed with anything related to clowns or the circus. So whenever I meet him, I bring some of my juggling stuff and I usually show him my juggling routine and then let him play with some of my equipment. Me and my sister were staying at our parents' house and she went with my parents to some sort of stuff with the funeral home. She left me with her son and told me to watch him while she was gone. This last summer, I had started juggling knives, so I brought them with me to entertain my nephew. He seemed really impressed and asked if he could play with them. I was a little reluctant, but the knives were quite dull and I made him wear long sleeves before touching them. He tried to juggle and almost immediately dropped one and it sliced through his sleeve and cut his arm a little bit. I quickly put a bandage on the cut and he seemed okay. My parents and sister arrived home shortly and my sister got worried as soon as she saw the bandage on his arm. I explained what happened and she started yelling at me about how I have no regard for my nephew's safety and that she'll never trust me with him again. This led to a pretty heated argument, and in her rage, she pushed a bottle of liquor that I bought off the counter, which shattered, leaving glass and liquor all over the kitchen floor. I was very mad because this little bottle cost me nearly $200, and I knew my parents were looking forward to it. I demanded that she pay me back the price of the bottle, plus another $15 to make up for the emotional stress and the work of cleaning up the shattered bottle. She refused soon after she took her son to the hospital because she was worried about his arm. When she got back home, I again asked her to pay me back for the bottle, this time excluding the $15 I previously asked for, and she still refused. This led to another heated argument, and I threatened to break every glass ceramic object in her possession if she doesn't pay me back. Oh, wow. She refused to talk to me after this argument, and my parents think I should apologize to her. Well, definitely about that last bit. I understand her being upset about the scratch on her son's arm, but that doesn't give her the right to basically rob me of $200 and keep my nephew from me. Am I the jerk? Whew. All right. Everyone kind of is a jerk here. Your sister, I don't know how bad the scratch was. If it was really literally just a scratch and, pretty much stopped bleeding immediately after putting a bandage on it, then I think she probably overreacted to the injury. Though I question your judgment to allow him to play with juggling knives, especially ones, I know you said that they were dull, but they clearly weren't dull enough because they still cut through his shirt and, left a scratch on him. So I think that you had lacked in judgment in this case. And I think that your sister got upset, and she got rightly so upset at the injury, but her breaking the bottle does not justify that. And you threatening to break everything in the house that's ceramic doesn't, justify that. So I think that both of you here need to learn how to control your emotions a little better and not get so angry at each other and, resort to immediately to saying that you're going to start breaking things because you're mad. That doesn't seem healthy. That doesn't seem healthy at all. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say about you and your sister, but I certainly think you're a jerk here, and I certainly think that she's a jerk here. And, for the reasons I kind of stated above. So anyhow, good luck. This letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Give a Student a Worse Mark Because He's a Jerk? Yes, I am a TA/marker for a class this semester. A lot of students use the club Discord to talk and discuss about assignments and marks. I'm incognito here at the request of the professor, so there is evidence of collaboration on individual assignments earlier in the course. I help students where I can, even if they don't know I'm the TA. Things like concepts I'll explain to them, but I don't give them answers. One student is a real jerk to the other students. He has pretty good marks and there's no evidence of cheating. However, he asks me a lot of questions and I gladly answer them. Then if I'm not online, some people will ask him something and he'll fire off a message like, "Wow, you idiot, you should know this by now," despite me explaining it to him the other day. I know I can't give or take away marks based on character, but there's some leeway in how I distribute marks. This student likes to do extra work that immediately makes more work for me. If an assignment asks for an ABCD, he'll do ABCDEF, for example. It's more for me to mark when the assignments don't necessitate it. If it was any other student, I just give them no extra marks for the extra work. However, for this student, I want to take away marks for the extra work. This is my way of punishing him for being a jerk to the other students without that being my explicit reasoning. Student did more work that made it difficult to mark is a valid reason according to the professor. Would I be the jerk? Here's the thing. I've graded a lot of students' works over years. And there have been students I disliked, and there have been students who were a pain in the butt to deal with. And there have been students who've come to me complaining about their grades and complaining about, how I marked them unfairly or any number of things. But I have always done my best to be impartial and grade them as fairly as possible and uniformly as possible. I mean, I think in a lot of ways you should talk to your professor and have him talk to the student and, counsel him about his behavior and how it's not professional. And if he isn't acting professionally, there could be some leeway in the grade for professionalism. So it would be a good idea for the professor in the future to implement some kind of professionalism marks. So if a student is participating online in this Discord and they are supposed to be collaborating, then he should be getting marked down if he isn't doing a good job at collaborating and is instead, bullying and insulting his peers. You need to be uniform. If one student loses marks because they did extra work, then all the other students have to lose marks as well. That is just the reality of the situation. It doesn't matter how much you dislike him. It doesn't matter how much you think he's a jerk. You have to be a fair, impartial grader because you are in a position of power. Take care, good luck, and I hope you make the right decision here. All right, folks, our final letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Selling My Daughter's iPad? In March 2018, my daughter, 16, bought an iPad. She bought it with her own Christmas money. She is a wonderful artist, but I believe she is limiting her potential. She has made some money from it, as a little over a month ago, she was requested to work on Instagram. She has a substantial amount of followers on it, 10,000, and has made just under £100. It's nice that she's doing this, but it's making me worry. She does well in school, but all she is doing at the minute is drawing. I understand that she has a hobby and people are paying her money. That's not a hobby anymore. That's a professional. It's good, but I don't like what she draws either. It's not explicit in any sense, but I don't believe she's pushing herself. She has so much more talent, and because she is drawing so much recently, she's neglecting her duties, such as doing homework. I've tried getting across to her that school is important. I came out with good grades and now I'm an accountant. I worked hard at school. By doing my homework the first day I got it, I went away with many extracurricular and I was a star student. If I could do that 30 years ago, she can do it now. I have a rule of no technology until after dinner, but recently I found out she's been using her iPad before dinner. I took her iPad away from her and told her that she knew the rules. Before dinner is homework only. But she complained because we have dinner at 7 or 7:30, and she goes to bed at 9:30, which doesn't give her enough time for her to make her art for her customers since she also has to shower. It seemed that everything had been revolving around her iPad, and I had enough. On Friday, I had overtime at work, and I left the key for her and told her to do her chores. I come home and see that she hadn't done her work. She then came home with a happy face. She had just been commissioned again, and she is receiving £50 for it. I flipped. We had the biggest argument we've ever had. My daughter accused me of not supporting her, which I do, but her education comes first, and I'm sick and tired of her games. She cannot make a living from her art, and this social media thing is poisoning her. She knows the rules in my home, and she must stick to it. Wow. She retaliated that she is now making money. I won't need to nag her like what I do. She finally has a good job. She's making more money than what she did on her paper rounds. She can put this money towards her college fund. I took her iPad flat out and I said, I'm selling it. She is to delete her Instagram? No! And refund that new customer. Oh my goodness gracious. Do you know how long it takes to get 10,000 followers on Instagram? She has been crying and wailing, accusing me of not loving her and twisting my words. She told the story to her auntie, and now I have her berating me too. Nobody seems to understand that my daughter is obsessed with this iPad. No, she's not obsessed with the iPad. You're missing the point. Her excuse is that she's making money, and I tell her there's no use in making money now if you can't make it in the future. Am I a jerk? Yes. Oh my goodness. Edit, I have not sold the iPad. It's with me. However, I had put it up on eBay this morning before I posted here. Some of you are seriously making me reconsider, but my decision still stands. I want what's best for my daughter, so that in 10 years she can afford to draw all day comfortably from her lounge and making money. You have no idea how anything works in the world nowadays. You are insane. She has followers right now who are literally paying her money to do art. She's going to be able to take that talent, grow it, and make even more money in the future. This is how things work now. I understand your concern. Not everyone wants to go to school to be an accountant. And this is coming from someone who has STEM degrees. I think that art is extremely important, and art is an extremely useful thing to society. By demeaning her art and showing her that her art isn't important, you've completely missed the point. This is not about her iPad. One, she bought that iPad with her own money. And I think that parents who sell the possessions of their children, who especially who bought it with their own money, are completely wrong. I mean, if you want to take it away from her for some extended period of time or ground her from it, I think that's okay and well within the reasons of a parental ability. But to sell her possessions that she literally owns, I think is wrong. Flat out wrong. Next, you say this is a hobby. This is not a hobby anymore. The moment she started receiving money, the moment she started receiving commissions, this became professional. She is a professional doing professional work. She can make a living off of this money. If she's making £50 now, she can make £50 later. Her art is only going to get better, and she's only going to become a more skilled artist. So, no, you are a jerk. You shouldn't force her to delete her Instagram, and I think if you were to do that, you would be making a horrible mistake, and you would be basically setting yourself up to never see your daughter ever again the moment she leaves home. So, yeah, you're a jerk. Sorry. I understand you're coming from a good place. You want her to do well in school because you think that doing well in school is going to be her ticket to being an accountant like you someday, but she clearly doesn't want to be an accountant. She clearly wants to do art. And if she's impassioned, this is her passion, and she's good enough to earn money right now, then I think that's a really good indicator that she's going to be good enough to do it later. So anyhow, take care and good luck. I hope you make a better decision. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving it a like. Also, consider subscribing. It helps me out because it lets me know that you're interested in the stuff I'm making, and it keeps me motivated. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.